Alone at the edge of a universe, humming a tune, or merely dreaming we were snow.
You're now listening to the Lycaeus Frequency. Hello, hello, hello. Welcome back to the Lycaeus Frequency. Tonight, an interesting special guest. What do you call yourself exactly?
Most people call me Barney. I know this isn't really ideal. I am attached to a rock currently.
Well, I mean, it means you're easy to transport. It's not that big a rock.
Yeah.
For those of you at home who haven't met our friendly sentient barnacle, this is Barney.
Nice to meet you.
Yes, over the waves of radio, we have brought Barney to your ears. Now, tonight, we continue our travels into the Hypnagogic Archive, a strange website full of stranger things yet. Are you familiar with the internet?
Not really, no. I mean, I've heard of it.
Right.
But, kind of hard to get around in the ocean.
Yes, now I do say, you can see, correct?
Kind of.
Okay.
It's like, I can sense light, mostly.
Right, okay. But can you sense different colors of light?
Well, it depends what the colors are.
Well, the red light.
Some people talk about green, and I can't really see that. But most of the other ones.
Okay. Good to know. Well, I suppose we should start this off with a reading from the Hypnagogic Archive, a text file known as Evening Meeting. Let's go ahead and take a look. Oh, that's a picture. Oh, that's an interesting picture. So for those of you not following along at home, the picture is it's of like a tree at night. It's a tree in spring, I'm assuming, judging by the sprouts coming off of the branches. And in the far distance, there is a half moon. It almost looks like the Death Star with that little crater right in the middle. Anyways. That's the opening picture for Evening Meeting. This was posted to tapetraders.com, July 12th, 2010. I know you think I'm crazy, but I'm not. I know what I saw, and if you don't see them, if you don't hear them, then you're the crazy ones. They're plain as day, I tell you. It's crystal clear as a snapshot caught on a Chrome 100 film. I saw him at approximately 7:45 p.m., driving east on Left-Hand Canyon Drive. It's sunset. The light is fading fast, but you can see the infinite expanse of the prairie ahead of you. Haystack Mountain, way out, a silent monolith in the oncoming night. And to my left are some power lines. I was returning from a trade show in Netherlands. I got some fascinating material up there. To go along with the one of the woman in the room, I now have more. They're unlike anything I've ever seen. They draw you in and make you experience things more vividly than you could otherwise. Forget DVD. These videotapes are the future, I tell you. More interactive than virtual reality. I had a whole crate of them in the trunk. When I saw the man frying his brains out next to one of these enormous power lines, I swerved off the ditch, and the whole crate tumbled off. I checked that my truck still worked. It did. Put it in park, and went around the back to pick up all the videos off the ground. But I had seen him, clear as day, crystal clear, standing near this enormous transmitter-receiver thing they had installed, and his head was on fire. I thought maybe it was a suicide attempt, though from the impact I was still somewhat dazed. There was a loose wire at the base of the receiver that had become disconnected, and it was emitting sparks. I was afraid it could start a wildfire, and I would be blamed. They'd say I ran the truck into a pole or something, but I didn't. I swear I didn't. At that moment, the sparks started flying faster and faster, and the man appeared gradually, flickering on and off like a weary light bulb. I could barely see anything. The sun had sunk over the range, and the hills were shrouded in shadow. And he writhed as the hot white flow surged around his skin. In places it was boiling. He had the consistency of ash. I didn't go near him. I merely stood and placed the crate gingerly into the back and stared as he convulsed and writhed, letting out small noises in intervals. He had no features to speak of, save 2 piercing yellow eyes and that bizarre, seething complexion. Near his feet were what appeared to be several scattered sticks. And then he opened his mouth, and a piercing screech rang from top to bottom, and the power line began glowing with white-hot heat from where I was standing to the inestimable, what a word, inestimable deep depths of the horizon. It was positively malicious. With the yell of this thing, he lifted his arms, and a tape I had bought at the exchange rose from the crate before bursting into a vivid ball of flame about 20 feet over our heads. And all the while, he was overflowing with radiance. "Ellis," it said. I approached the front of the truck and began feeling for the handle of the door, but I was frozen stiff with shock. The thing knew my name. It was only me and him out here, alone in the twilit expanse. I chose to meet him on his own terms. Though he was attached to the tower via the wire, he seemed powerful enough to break free and slit my throat. Of course, if he was capable of that, he likely wouldn't have done so already. "Hello," I said. I don't know what I was thinking. I had seen these things before, in some capacity or in some small way, but I don't know how to approach them, how to interact with them, what the best methods are. This was the first I had seen in its complete form. God, he was terrible to behold, even in these low visibility conditions. "Give me the tapes, Ellis." The voice of that thing was like that of a cable channel with bad reception. It hissed and cut out. He lunged forward for the crate, which was now piled neatly and safely under the tarp. I lunged backward as he did so, and the wire that tethered him to this row of equipment let loose a shower of sparks, the likes of which you don't usually witness outside the 4th of July. I said nothing then, as he retreated to his position at the base of the tower. I crossed my arms and planted both shoes into the mud and watched as the rows of towers switched on and off from complete luminescence to absolute darkness. It was as Nisha said, a test to the will to power. I did not take my eyes off his flickering yellow holes, and my eyes, which I imagine were glinting like a cat's in the soft purple twilight shades, were bored into as he probed me, every facet of my being. And we both stood as the wind picked up and whipped through the trees on the opposite side of the road. There was no traffic along Left-Hand Canyon Drive, only the incessant buzz of copper tubing and steel plating which housed the structure, the insulative rubber melting in small drips from the lines as this thing, whatever he was, continued making blood-curdling noises of anguish. He wouldn't be getting his hands on the tapes. He was powerless, and he knew that. I kept seeing them. The more tapes I collect, the more I film on my camcorder, the more they pop up. Not just the weak one, which I left behind in his pathetics after he vanished into thin air. The new ones are stronger, better at what they do. They want my collection. I have to keep it locked away in the basement. Only bring it up for very special occasions now. And they whisper to me at night. I need somewhere safe to keep the tapes. Somewhere I know they can't get at them. It's about the will to power. Whose will is stronger? Man or beast? Who will triumph? Will they rend me limb from limb, splay my hide out on the rooftop, or will I outsmart them somehow? Surely they must have some kind of weakness. Tapes fit into it. That thing wanted my tapes, wanted to destroy them. They want to destroy all that I've ever worked for. Only time will tell.
Well, that sounded like an unpleasant experience.
Yeah, entities love tapes, I guess. Good to know.
Yeah, what was on those tapes? Was that stated?
I think that was a prior thing said in the archive. It talked about one of the tapes.
I see.
The woman in the room was one of the tapes that was discussed. It was about this like entity that was a fan, but also not a fan. It was weird.
Like a literal fan?
Yes, a ceiling fan.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I'm one to talk.
Yes, quite. You are certainly an interesting creature yourself. So. What purpose do the tapes serve then? Like, what entity is weakened by tapes? Just simple VHS.
A weak one.
Well, clearly, but the more strong ones have been coming, and they want the tapes.
I mean, if you can be bested by tapes, how strong are you really?
Well, they want them to destroy them now. It's either that they are weak to them, or it is that they impose something bad.
Maybe the tapes, they talk too much about the supernatural.
Yes. That would make sense in its own way.
Yeah. It's about as much of a guess I've got.
Well, I suppose that is most of the guess you've got. Most of your stuff comes from the Herculean depths, from Lovecraftian natures, as opposed to that of our modern day conveniences with our electricity and our VHS and our DVDs.
Yeah.
You speak to Dagon beneath the depths, probably about the most recent episode of Bridgerton or something.
Much nicer down there, truly.
Well, the crushing pressure certainly can be comforting. On to an exercise in futility. Again, from the Hypnagogic Archive text files. The picture is a blurry picture of what looks to be the outside of a warehouse with a chain link fence and a light. Couple lights. They're hard to see. The thing is kind of blurry. It's very reminiscent of its time. This was extracted from the chat room of SpectreExplorers.com on September 2nd, 2006. Here's the chat log, folks. And you know what? How about I can put inputs into your brain.
Yes.
How about you come read for one of them, and I will read for the other, because it looks like there's just a couple of people. Oh, there's a few people here.
Uh-oh.
Okay, it switches off. There's a bunch of people. Oh, this is a long one, isn't it?
Gotta sign rolls.
Oh my god. Okay. Yeah, that's a long one. You ready for it?
Yeah.
Okay, I'll take Spirit Guide if you want to take Leia 001.
Yes, I might need to move a bit closer.
I see. Yeah, here. Let me grab your
eyes.
rock. Thump, thump, thump as we move the rock around.
I'm very heavy.
Yes, very heavy. All right, is it working?
Appears to be.
Yep, looks like it's all working. Maybe bring it a little closer. There you go. How about that?
So read the
not the time logs. That's gonna take a long time.
And should I read the names?
Well, when we switch off names, I think we should make a note. But otherwise,
keep it the same.
Yeah.
Okay. Is anyone here? It's late where I am, but I'm holding out for hope for someone to talk to.
Anything in particular?
Not really. I was just hoping to introduce myself to the forum. I joined yesterday, and I've browsed the post, especially on the True Encounters board. It's pretty cool how many people are willing to share their own ghost stories.
I agree. It is comforting to know that you're not alone. Leia is your name?
Yeah, Leia. My friends usually just call me Lee.
Okay. Do you have any ghost stories in particular you'd be willing to share?
Not really. I do believe in ghosts. I have since I was 4, and my grandma passed away. I always felt like she was somewhere around, but have not seen or heard anything really paranormal up until the present day. Like I said, I do believe in ghosts. There's really no reason to believe in ghosts, you know? Like, we can't prove them, sure, but we can't disprove them.
Kismet. Agreed. Welcome to the forum, by the way. I'm always excited when a new member joins.
Should I do something?
Hi, Kismet. Any explorations recently? Ghost trips, you mean? Nah, not lately. I've been too busy with my sophomore year, starting to explore anywhere. But I do think my trip to the train yards yielded something worthwhile. Some worthwhile results. Orbs. Also caught what I think is some voice on my tape recorder. It really shows up when you pass it through a filter. I will do more in about a month, though, don't worry.
Don't come here, Alex. I'm really not in the mood for this tonight.
Pardon?
Oh, sorry. I meant to text that to my boyfriend. He was saying he was going to come down to the gas station tonight to hang out.
I take it you work at a gas station.
Yeah, the night shift. I signed on about a year ago, and it's been tricky to fit all my classes in and get a decent sleep, but it pays really well. I work behind the counter from around 9 to 3 in the morning. Alex sometimes fills up here, and when he does, he always comes in and talks my ear off for like half an hour. It's nice because the job can be boring, and it's nice to have distraction, but he's really annoying. The last time he came in and started shoving licorice up his nose, so tonight I think I want a break. Plus, it's usually pretty busy about now.
You're there right now?
Yeah, I have a laptop and the Wi-Fi here is pretty good. My boss says I'm free to browse the web so long as no one comes in. But if they do, I have to get up and deal with the register. So if we're ever talking on here and I'm gone for a few minutes, that'll be why. But most of the night, I just get to sit back here and mess around.
Sounds enviable.
So, do you have any ghost stories?
I do. I've been fascinated by the paranormal ever since I had an encounter with the entity known as the Hat Man in 1992. Are you familiar with it?
No, never heard of him. What's he like?
I believe Spirit Guide 100% on this. There are way too many details for it to be made up. That's good you haven't encountered him, Leah. The Hat Man is one of the most malevolent entities documented. He warped reality for me back then and made me experience elaborate hallucinations and delusions. But he was no delusion. There are records of people seeing him, Leah, which go decades back. He's tall and thin, wears a hat with a noticeable brim, and manifests for the most part like a flat, completely dark silhouette, except his eyes, which are lit up. He's a fucking menace.
Like a shadow person.
Yes, exactly like that. When he found me, it was raining. Sometimes it's night. Other times, he stands above you while you're sleeping. The accounts vary, but a few details remain consistent throughout. He's never pleasant. Ever since I encountered him, I've dedicated my life to finding out more about him, finding out how to kill him, so he doesn't pose a threat to anyone else.
Well, good luck with that. I hope I never run into him.
The odds are relatively slim that you would. There are a lot of paranormal beings and ghosts out there. Plenty of other fish in the sea. If you keep an open mind and your eyes peeled.
Definitely gonna avoid hats from now on, lol.
Anyway, good luck on your job at the gas station, and welcome to the site.
BFN?
BFN? I don't know what the fuck that means. This is your host having no clue what the hell BFN means. Continuing.
Yeah, like I said, it pays really good. There aren't many people who are willing to stay up this late, and I can also get some of my studying done while I'm here. Aiming for a doctorate.
That's very admirable.
A tourist guy just came in, and he's looking in the freezer. Gotta go.
All right. Good night, Lee. The next day.
Is anyone on tonight?
Yeah, I'm usually on. Usually one of the only ones up this late. I don't have to go to work until the afternoon. I work at a construction site, and it takes a lot of effort, so in the evenings I just chill.
Wow, interesting.
Tell me about it. We're dismantling this old apartment building from the 60s. It's been on the street for decades, with nobody living inside it. Completely empty. Apparently, nobody wanted to buy the place, so now we're supposed to go on site with an excavator and a couple bulldozers and tear the place apart. Every so often during my break, I go inside the place and check out all the exposed wiring, all these broken walls which give way to the outside world. Most of the furniture is intact, too. It's a shame to think it'll all end up in a landfill somewhere.
I agree. People these days don't seem to have any respect for history. You mentioned last night that you liked exploring abandoned areas, that there are more ghosts there or something?
Yes, as a general rule of thumb, you're more likely to see ghosts in abandoned or neglected areas. I run a blog where I detail some ghost hunting expeditions I've gone on with pictures. I've also been uploading some videos I captured to a website called YouTube.
Sounds cool. Link?
Sure, it's on MySpace at redacted link.
How do you decide where to go? Like, what are the criteria? I've always wondered about that.
Usually you want to go to some place with nobody around, ideally with low light. I've captured a few orbs out in the forest at a spot where some girl in a hippie cult supposedly went missing. That's the other main factor. It has to be an area of death or suffering.
Yeah, that does make sense.
So, what are you up to tonight?
Downloading some songs on LimeWire while I'm waiting for my boyfriend to pick me up at the end of my shift.
LimeWire? Isn't that illegal?
No, I don't think so. Besides, if they sue me, I'll just set my computer on fire. Good luck finding what I downloaded then. Lol.
I hear it has some kind of spyware, Lee. If you're going to use it, at least be careful.
Oh, come on. You're not really one of those you wouldn't steal a car guys, are you?
No, not particularly. I'm not very invested in the subject. I've just heard some bad things about LimeWire is all.
You should try it sometime. It's pretty good software. Unless you really think the internet shouldn't be used as a free repository for information, which is what it was designed for in the first place. Hell, I even own most of these albums on CD, but they have things coded into them that makes them hard to copy into my files. It's my right as a consumer to build a digital library.
Well, okay. Just don't say I didn't warn you if your computer gets infected with a Trojan or something.
Don't worry, I won't.
ROFL.
Okay, I'm back. Some lady came in and had a question about a discontinued brand of Pringles she liked. And then she got an iced tea and asked for some change so she could use the car wash. She's out there spraying off the floor mats and hood and everything with the power sprayer. It's kind of a surreal image this late at night.
CHIO. It must be. That late at night, of course.
Oh, hi. Are you new to the board? I joined a little bit ago.
You could say that. How the fuck did you get on? I didn't manually approve you, but I got an email a few minutes ago that says you had replied to the Cuyahoga Falls thread. Where'd you get that information anyway? I have my ways. That's all I'm really willing to admit. How are you doing tonight, Leah?
Fine, I guess. Who are you?
If you hacked in the back door, I will be reporting you to our web host and they'll look into it, possibly take legal action. I'll take my chances. I was talking to Leah.
Like I said, I'm okay. What do you want? Wait, I get it. This is Alex, isn't it? You asshole! You actually had me going for a sec there.
No, Leah. I'm not Alex. Nice guess, though. What now? Just looking out for you, girl. From someone who's made the same mistakes as you have. Take it with a grain of salt if you want, Leah. If you really don't want to admit that what you're doing is hurting you, hurting the people around you. I've always taken it with a grain of salt myself. Just need to let you know that for every action, there is an equal and opposite reaction.
I'm confused. What are you talking about?
You wouldn't steal a car, Leah. Would you steal a clock?
Get the fuck out, really. Who is this?
Look outside, Leah.
Fuck! It was that lady in the car. I ran out, but she was already pulling out of the driveway by that time. I know it was her. She probably had a computer on her. What a weird bitch.
How do you know for sure, though?
Are you kidding? She says look outside, and then I do, and I see her typing something in the passenger seat. I come out from behind the desk, she goes around and looks at me with a knowing smirk, and hops in the driver's seat and speeds off. I have no doubts. What I really wonder is how she was able to access our Wi-Fi. I didn't give her the password. Only employees are supposed to have it.
You should call the cops, Leah. Lee, report her. Show them these chat logs as proof.
That would be easier said than done. I didn't catch her license plate. It started with a J, I think, but I'm not even sure about that. They could spend months looking for the car. It was kind of generic, dark color, but I don't know car models or anything.
Well, at least you have a description of her. You give the cops that.
She was medium height, had a black shirt and blue slacks, and some kind of necklace. She was brunette. Maybe it was dyed, and a name badge, so I'm guessing she worked somewhere. Some kind of employee. I wasn't able to read it close. 26, 27 maybe.
That's a good start. Do you have access to a phone?
No, honestly, it's okay. I'm not gonna call the police. Alex will be here in about an hour, and the last thing I would want is for him to get here and the gas station is surrounded by police cars. He doesn't like going near cops. He had a run-in with them in junior year and hasn't stopped talking about it ever since. He would not forgive me.
I banned her account. Damned if I know how she actually got on here without being approved. I'll look into it some more tomorrow.
I just need to go home and rest. I have some kind of stalker, but honestly I have more to worry about than that. If anything happens, I'll tell someone, but for right now, I think I just need to relax. I should go.
If you say so. Good night.
What the fuck? Sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The next morning.
Sorry about last night when you saw what the fuck. That was Alex typing that. He says he found me asleep behind the counter with a nosebleed. He offered to take me to the hospital, but I told him I just fell asleep and I went to the bathroom to plug it up. He was really confused and looked on my laptop.
God, that sounds bad. Are you okay?
Yeah, I'm fine. I don't regularly get nosebleeds, but I think I was so stressed out I just fell asleep in half an hour or so. But I'm okay. I've googled if stress can cause nosebleeds. Apparently it can. Don't worry though, I brought my cell phone, and if that woman shows up again, I will call the police.
Good idea. It's always smart to take precautions. You should take a day off, Lee. After whatever happened last night.
No, really, I'll be okay. It was just a nosebleed. People get those. Maybe it's that I'm awake too late. I'd have to quit this shift, and it pays really good. I don't think whoever it was will show up again.
Well, it never hurts to be careful. I've learned that from my ghost hunting adventures. One time I was exploring this old factory, and a pipe swung down and almost hit me in the back of the neck. Must have weighed 500 pounds, but I was wearing those sunglasses with the mirrors on them so you can see behind you, and I was able to duck before it hit me. I don't know. Maybe it was just luck. No kidding. You actually wear those things? I always thought of them as more of a gag gift than anything else. They used to seem sold at my local Spencer's. No, seriously, they do work as advertised, especially if you get a quality brand. It's like having 360 panorama vision, which expands your periphery. You know about the blind spot, right? The part of the eye where there are no photoreceptors, right? Right, exactly. Mirrored sunglasses could really help with that because you're practically seeing twice what you would otherwise. And when you're exploring some underground bunker or something, it can add an extra layer of security. Not just for falling pipes, but imagine if the Hat Man was back there. You'd want to know, right? Kiz, please don't. I forgot. Touchy subject, you're right. Sorry. You can't make jokes about him because he's real. And that's what I've had to live with. That he's out there somewhere. The thing that made me think I had died for no other reason than pure, unfiltered evil. And everyone tells me it was just a dream. The worst part is no one believing you. That's why I made these forums in the first place. Because everyone is like, oh, it was just sleep paralysis. Or, oh, you just have to stop believing him and he'll go away. Because he won't. He won't die. He'll probably kill me. I know what'll happen. That he'll return. And all I can hope is that when he does, I'll be ready for him. You can only really hope, I guess, that you'll be ready for whatever happens when it happens, not if.
What are some of the craziest ghost encounters you've personally had, Kismet?
There's one that will always stick with me. It was around 10 years ago. I had heard rumors that a rest stop in the mountains was haunted. If I remember, I was new to the game then, relatively inexperienced in the field, a lot more cocky and sure of myself. That's not really being fair on yourself. Based on the pictures you took, you did acquire verifiable evidence of the supernatural, which is more than I've been able to do. I just regret being so exploitative. You have to be respectful of the dead when you go out on these things. I guess I learned that the hard way.
What do you mean?
I still don't know what happened up there. All I know is that it was absolutely a place of unfathomable tragedy. The force I felt whisking me around was so strong that I still think about it sometimes, especially since the glass wall was so thin. You have to understand, there was like a 70-foot drop I could have fallen down. I would have died. Then I would have been the ghost.
I'm so sorry about that. It sounds awful.
Well, I've learned from my mistakes, and I can admit as much. Browsing this forum, looking over the experiences of people who have had similar experience with poltergeists, because I think that's what one of the spirits at the rest stop was, a poltergeist of some kind. It's really unconfirmed. It's really confirmed a lot of suspicions and ideas I've had. I even keep a journal now, for reference. Helps unclutter the mind.
That makes sense. I watch some ghost hunting shows sometimes, especially on the weekends. They always seem to be right around the corner for making an incredible discovery, but they never quite reach their goals. I've wondered a long time what it would be like if the existence of ghosts was objectively proven. How would it affect the outside world? People's attitudes, that sort of thing. You said you've captured definitive evidence?
I did. Multiple photos. All of the female ghost who haunted the place. She was the one who originally attracted it to me. Although watching her stand there motionless while behind her the rest stops lights just kept shining was really unsettling. Since then, I don't think I've ever bothered to take any breaks at rest stops. Not worth it. Too much baggage. If you think about it, there are places of suffering and tragedy, less reported on, perhaps, but some of the seediest activities would take place in a secluded yet well-lit area like that.
Hang on a sec. Alex just pulled up. I think he wants to know how I'm doing. Be right back.
Have you figured out the hacking yet? No. From what I can tell, it's a closed system. I contacted the web host, but they don't seem to care. That's too bad. If this site does somehow gets hacked and destroyed for whatever reason, I want you to know that it was a great run, and I've had a great time on here, meeting like-minded people and all. Same. The memories are going to last forever.
Alex doesn't believe me about what happened last night.
I thought you told him about everything when he picked you up.
He didn't really believe me then, either. Says I've been working too hard and I probably just imagined how she looked at me. But I'm not crazy. You all saw what happened. She literally said, "Look outside, for fuck's sake."
Is Alex still there? Could you put him on a chat for a few minutes?
No, he left. Got a big bag of sunflower seeds. I guess him and some of the guys are going to a college baseball game tonight. Didn't even think to invite me. If he had, I would have called ahead and asked for a night off.
I don't know about any of you, but if I found my girlfriend passed out on her computer monitor with a nosebleed, I would at least believe her if she said she saw something out of the ordinary.
He's right, though. I do work too much. This is in addition to all the courses I'm taking. It puts a great deal of stress on you to have a job and try to get a degree at the same time. My mind is constantly in two places at once. And the worst part is that it's of my own volition. I made a choice to live like this. The consequences are mine to bear.
Stress can induce hallucinations in some cases, Leah, but I do think the woman you saw last night was the same one on here. There really is no other explanation.
I think I'm gonna listen to a few albums to pass the time tonight.
That's a good idea. Music usually helps me relax. What albums do you have downloaded?
Bootlegs mostly. That's one of the reasons I installed LimeWire. You can find some really cool tracks and demos that you wouldn't hear otherwise on just a normal CD or something. I have an external hard drive I store them on. It's mostly old shoegaze.
You really shouldn't store that much, Leah. It could wear your computer down.
Some guy's looking around the soda. Hang on.
I'm probably going to hit the hay for now. If Alex ever gives you some baseball tickets, Lee, give them to me instead. I'll go. Aha.
It's raining now. Going to try and get some homework done while I'm waiting. I'm so tired. I guess the rain is making me sleepy. Has a relaxing sound to it. It's pouring sheets tonight, so probably won't have any more customers. Just me and the computer screen and songs on my headphones. Makes studying easier. Is anyone on? I guess not. Back to work. Thought I heard the little bell on the door. Can't really tell with the headphones, but nobody's outside, so I guess it's just the rain. Kinda bored, but I do need to get these filled out before tomorrow. Somebody's fucking with my head.
What happened?
I'm crouched behind the desk right now. Someone came in and they're crawling around the aisles below eye level. I caught a glimpse of them. It's probably Alex. Gonna jump out and give him a piece of my mind.
You don't know it's him. Just call the police as fast as possible.
I'm going to peek. It's not him.
Who is it?
I think I get what she meant now. I think I get it, but it's too late to get it.
You mean the woman?
She wasn't trying to hurt me. She was trying to warn me. Can't make any noise on my keyboard. It has legs. Oh God, it has legs. I can hear it out there. It wants me. What do I do? What the fuck do I do?
Stay calm. Call the police. Cover the speaker with your hand.
The police can't help me. Nobody can. Stop this! Oh God, I think he heard me. I'm gonna try and make a break for it, but it'll hear me.
Lee, are you okay?
Time stops for no one.
Well, Barney, what the fuck?
I think the Hat Man.
Yeah,
I think the Hat Man might have got Leia.
I don't think it was the Hat Man. I feel like the hat would have been mentioned.
Yeah, you're right, but I don't know what else it could have been.
Something spooky.
Clearly.
Something real spooky that don't like your LimeWire.
Yeah.
Now, Barney, I never did suspect that you had such good acting chops. I mean, really, a round of applause. If I could pull up a round of applause, I would. But alas, we are in the studio, and there are probably people sleeping. So.
Thank you. I had a lot of time down in the ocean,
Have you considered going on Broadway?
I'm not sure if they'd have many roles that really fit my appearance, but if they'd have me, I'd love to go on there.
Yeah, no, definitely. I'll talk to the demons, see if we can get you a part.
Yeah.
In on a stage or something.
Yeah, on a stage of the musical.
Yeah, you'll just what's it? You'll do. You could do the guy, the one guy, the guy who's I definitely have his name in my brain.
Yes, clearly that guy that we all know about.
Yeah, we all know him.
We all love him. Great guy.
Something like that. Well, I suppose this is now the time to go into our musical interlude for the evening. I'm going to go ahead and switch on all of our fun things from here at the Lycaeus Frequency. Speaking of which, if you have a creepy story like whatever the hell that was, feel free to send it in to the Lycaeus Frequency. And you send it in at lycaeusfrequency@gmail.com. That is LYCAEUS frequency@gmail.com. Thank you all for listening for now. We're going to do our short little musical interlude, and then we're going to hop into some other things tonight. But until we return, here's Where the Enemy Sleeps by Scott McKay. Welcome back. We have returned from our musical interlude, and now I've got my GoPro attached to an interesting set of wires that goes directly into the rock in which Barney resides, so that Barney can now see properly all of the spectrum of light.
It's a little overwhelming.
Maddening, perhaps.
I mean, I presume this is what I'd need to go on Broadway,
Well, not necessarily. You just need to know direction for Broadway and to be able to project, to sing
Kind
a
of
glorious, melodious song.
Have to put me on like a little scooter or something. Can't really move very well.
Well, yeah. No, you just have somebody carry you. Here's an idea. Musical adaptation of Hamlet, You're Yorick. It's genius.
It is. Truly.
Genius. I want royalties. Any of you Broadway people listening out there, I want royalties for that. That is a genius idea. It is novel.
Yeah, I mean, the only other suggestion I'd have is The Little Mermaid.
Under the sea. Now we're gonna get Disney copyrighted. Cool. Anyways, like we weren't already having some issues. So, I suppose it is the latter half of the show now. We have interacted with the Hypnagogic Archive once again. To this, I give you a thought, an idea. Let us see what the music of the spheres has for us, what those things above that hang above the high hills of Zelnord, the high and dark places here. Let's see what they have to tell us through the cards. So, Barney, you can see now.
Yes.
I'd like you to describe for our viewers out there the cards that I'm pulling, what they look like, what is evoked in you when you see these cards. And then, well, we'll read their meaning. And once we've read their meaning, we can truly see what comes of it. Now, we must ask a question of the spheres, of the hills, of the eyes within those hills. What question is to be asked? Let us think. Everything right now feels like it's coming to a head. There's something afoot. There's a climax coming. What is coming for us here at the Lycaeus Frequency and for Downlord County as a whole? What is coming for us in the darkened places beyond our reach? Well, just beyond our reach. But we are not beyond reach of them. I want all of you listeners to think about it, to let it roil inside you, and then spill it back out into the earth, into the sky, into the air. It is done. Good. Let us see what the cards have in store for us.
Should I describe the bags? The first card is the Three of Swords. Considering I've just found my eyes, it's kind of hard to tell what's going on here. It seems to be that there's two blades stabbing into an anatomical heart that has an eye in it. Second card.
There are three, actually, if you look a little closer. Right.
My eyes really overwhelming. Second card is the Queen of Cups. Seems to be a beautiful woman with large hair and a white dress with a white flower crown and water, surrounded by rainbow swirls and floating fish. And the last card, a different style from all the others. The Storyteller. It's black and white entirely, and it's mostly made of lines. There's a man holding a scroll that says The Storyteller and has a mushroom on it. There's also a little fly in the air.
I see. Now, what does this tell you? What comes to mind? What is the story here?
Well, from my time in the ocean, I do know that the swords means pain. It means some sort of violent event, some sort of harm that has been done to you, something to do with evil. And I don't quite remember what the Queen of Cups is. I know that the cups often has to do with change, as it is the element of water, and I've never heard of the Storyteller before.
What do you think he tells you? What vibe does he give? Vibe check him.
He seems mysterious, wise.
Interesting. So, you were quite right about the swords. Betrayal, heartbreak. A classic. The Three of Swords. It's not a breakup. It can be losing a dream, having a goal slip from your fingers, or worse things still. But what matters is recognizing that pain. Now, knowing a little bit about proceedings as of late, perhaps there is a betrayal to come in our politics here in the little county of Del Norte. But who's to say? It's only the cards that speak this, not me, for legal reasons. Now, the Queen of Cups. She is the one who bears the cup fully. The card is water. She is the many ideas behind motherhood, supportive, kind, warm, welcoming. She's brilliant with an intuition and a healer more than a problem solver. She's comforting, but not much of a solution. Platitudes, kind words, but a betrayal nonetheless. And finally, the Storyteller. What does he have for us? Let's see if I can find him in my mystical magical book.
He's mysterious.
He
Likes
is
to hide.
Mysterious. Perhaps he does like to hide. But that is beyond me to say just yet. God bless it. Where is he? I don't see him.
Do you mind if I take a look?
I think I might know where to find him. I just can't quite see him yet. Yeah, let's try there. I reckon he's at the end of the book with all the strange things that lie there. First time I read that.
He's not like the other girls, you know.
He isn't. He really isn't. He's a quirked up white boy, busting it down sexual style. Perhaps he's goated with the sauce.
You know, you could describe what that means to me. As I've been living in the ocean, I'm not really certain.
It's not one of these new things all these kids are saying these days.
One of those newfangled terms.
Yeah, well, them newfangled nomenclatures.
Yeah, gotta stay hip with the kids, you know.
Yeah, man. I mean, radio's hip with the kids, right? That's why I'm on here.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I'd be talking into the void, you know, broadcasting to the depths of hell. Maybe I am simultaneously, though that's for me to know, not you.
I've heard they've got some pretty shitty radios down there.
Well, I mean, yeah, it's hell.
Just enough that you can, like, hear what people are saying, but they're static.
Exactly. There he is. I found him. The storyteller. We seek people to tell us stories about ourselves all the time, wanting to be understood by others, but also recognized for what we've done and accomplished. Readers are that. It is much about the stories as it is the teller, how stories are the refuse of our lives, the distilled form of life grown from it. Stories cannot tell the whole truth, but they can tell a truth, and we thrive off of them like bugs and fungus on shit and fecundity. So, there's a story to be told here. There is both truth and misinformation in the things we learn and the thoughts in our minds. There's a thought that weighs on my mind, but I'll hold it for now. But it seems the cards have found it and latched onto it as opposed to the question I ask. Well, no, the question I ask does relate in some way, but there's a story being told, and there are comforting platitudes and nice words, but there will be a betrayal. Bad things are afoot.
A kind lie and a dark
kind
truth.
lies, dark truths. All is well, or so they say, but the dark places just beyond our reach have other things to say for that. Dalnort County, good luck. God's blessings, if you believe in that. So, not knowing any of the meanings here, these cards are strange, because two of them seem like they'd fit in the same deck with their psychedelic imagery and their strangeness, but one seems like something I'd pull out of 12th graders' sketch notebook. Yeah, just like their math notebook. Be like, oh, interesting.
I noticed that when I was looking at them.
Perhaps the Alleyman's Tarot has stranger things to say than one's normal tarot cards.
Yeah, I mean, psychedelic fish, man.
Yeah, I mean, seeing as all of the backs of them are different, they are certainly strange things. Now, I am curious, how would you describe this one? The back of the Queen of Cups. Because I'm finding myself at a loss to do so.
It's quite an interesting symbol. So, there's a circle in the middle. And inside of the circle, there's a flower shape with webbing going across the petals. And then outside of that circle, it's like waves on the sun. And behind those waves, there's swirling patterns. They're symmetrical on both sides. There's
a fair
also
way to describe
red.
it. Yes, no, quite. A fair way to describe it. Though I would reckon I'd describe that center one as something of sacred geometry. It's a principle amongst many esoteric orders, that of the sacred geometry, that everything made by anything comes down to sacred geometries. Flowers are in sacred geometry. Trees are in sacred geometry. It's how they grow. They grow in a very specific pattern. That pattern can be codified into geometric shapes, and thus it is sacred. Perhaps God made it. Perhaps something more. Perhaps it's merely a pattern we are inflicting on ourselves to create meaning in a meaningless world where there is only void and we become food for bugs.
Well, that's dark. I didn't learn much math under the ocean, but
Yeah.
sounds reasonable.
Plausible. Yeah. Plausible. Well, interesting words from the deck tonight. I wonder how much they really affect me, or if I'm merely having some confirmation bias. Perhaps I'm taking this too personally. and that this is merely something that oddly relates to the thoughts in my head. But that is neither here nor there. It seems I'm in a suggestible mood tonight.
Only time will tell.
Yes, only time will tell. Now, I know you haven't been up beyond the depths of the ocean, beyond the Sisyphean depths of the Marianas Trench. But you got any good music? Want to give me a suggestion? Do as you will.
I'd say Lent by Otto Hart.
Interesting that Otto Hart managed to make its way all the way to the bottom of the sea.
The whales speak.
The whales speak. And they speak of Lent, I say.
And they like Otto Hart.
Yeah, I mean, they like Otto Hart. Take your Lent, do as you will. Be safe. God bless. I'm going to play that. Maybe some small words after. And then that'll be our broadcast for tonight. Stay tuned. Here it is. Lent by Otto Hart. Welcome back. Just for a little bit. We thought we'd give you, well, a little bit of a good night wishes. For those of you out there in the world, watch your doors. Watch your lights. Keep an eye on the sky. And don't look into the dark hills, because something might just look back. Especially given what this has to say. Now, maybe our politicians are the ones looking back. Or perhaps something more. Perhaps there is something to be said for the stranger things in the world. Something out beyond us. Something supra-human. But that is not for me to decide. That is for you to decide, our dear viewer, our dear listener. That is for you to decide whether or not you believe that. But if you have an opinion on it, send it in to the Lycaeus Frequency, and that is Lycaeus Frequency at gmail.com. Spell it right, kids.
We are desperate for submissions.
Desperate for submissions. My pacemaker will go out the more episodes that I run without these viewer submissions. That being said, I've got to get to midnight mass. Till next time, this has been the Lycaeus Frequency. Good night.